Mammography is one of the best screening tools to find breast cancer.
Breast cancer may not be preventable, but you can survive it through early detection. If you're a mother or grandmother, sister or best friend,
aunt or cousin,
we encourage you to know your risk, make healthy lifestyle choices, and to know what's normal for your body.
Get screened, get your mammogram annually.
We did!
BTC executives rewarded after it was sold to Cable and Wireless. Reasons and reactions coming up. Concerns raised over the sale of the British Colonial Hilton to a Chinese state-owned company. Plus, a new program designed to tackle gambling addiction. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Shopping news tonight. It was revealed this morning that $1.5 million in bonuses from the public treasury were paid out to executives at the Bahamas telecommunications company shortly after 51% of its shares were sold in 2011. Now a former finance minister is explaining and defending the move. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Although the details surrounding the sale of 51% of BTC's shares have not been made public, it has been revealed today that some of those executives were paid very handsomely for their efforts in the transaction, and some of them as much as $200,000. Although the Christie administration promised to reveal the details of that BTC privatization deal to Cable and Wireless, not much has been reported. That is, until today. It was revealed in this morning's Nassau Guardian that shortly after the controversial sale of majority shares of BTC, a total of $1.5 million in bonuses were paid out to 15 executives at the company. One of those executives reportedly got a check for $210,000, while 3 of them were given $150,000 each. 6 of them received checks for $100,000, 1 got $75,000, 3 of them took home $50,000, and another received $15,000. All this in addition to their annual salary of at least $99,000. It was also revealed that each executive received a personal note from then Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham thanking them for the valuable role they played in the government's realization of the recent privatization of BTC. We contacted Ingraham, however, he refused to comment. We then reached out to the former State Minister for Finance, Zhivargo Lang, who is currently in Freeport. When asked if he knew of the bonuses, this was his response. So you knew of the bonuses? You were aware of the bonuses when they were handed out?
Yes, I'm aware that the bonuses were made. I am aware. I was certainly aware of it before you published it in the newspaper.
An agitated Zhivargo Lang firmly denied any wrongdoing on the part of the Ingraham administration. He said whatever payouts were made would have been made with the authorization of BTC's board. He added that questions shouldn't be directed at him, but the current PLP government.
That this was a transaction that took place by the government and in a government corporation. No one who was seeking to do anything nefarious behind secretly, etc., would try to do that in respect of a government corporation using the public treasury, etc., where there is a auditor general who has to audit what is done by the public treasury. So
then when asked about the former prime minister sending a personal thank you out to these executives, Lang said he sees nothing wrong with it.
To be honest with you, is it a norm to sell a public corporation? That's not a normal something. And that a prime minister might take occasion to thank an executive for a very difficult and complicated exercise that he was able to conclude is a strange matter. To say thank you, I don't regard that as strange at all. But you may, I don't.
Back in late August, during the closure of the take-back deal where Cable and Wireless gave 2% of the shares to the Bahamian people, Prime Minister Christie described the bonuses as being excessive. We understand that a parliamentary committee is set to be appointed to investigate the entire BTC deal. Lang said if the public requires more information, then the government of the Bahamas should disclose whatever information it has regarding the sale. Lang says he has no difficulty disclosing any additional information regarding the sale as well. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts says it's very interesting that the former Prime Minister had no comment to offer on the bonuses, considering a pledge he made in the past.
It was the same Mr. Ingram who told the press that he would be very happy to go before a parliamentary committee when it was signaled by the government that of its intention to appoint a parliamentary committee to inquire into this matter. He said he would go before it without a lawyer. He said he didn't need any lawyer, any assistance. And it's very interesting that he's now saying he has no comment.
Roberts says he found out about these payouts a long time ago and was shocked when he did find out because he couldn't understand why. He added this latest revelation is only the tip of the iceberg of what happened around the time of that BTC deal. The chairman said it is his understanding the government will move for a select committee to probe the BTC deal at the next sitting of Parliament. That select committee was promised since February. Roberts told NB12 Bahamians will be shocked to learn the rest.
I think that all Bahamians, all right-thinking Bahamians would like to know the answer to that question. The person who is best able to answer that question is the one who offer no comment. I would think that he had his eyes wide open when he made that decision and should have been in the position to respond to the press when they questioned him on the matter, rather than to offer no comment.
With some expressing concern over China's involvement in the Bahamian economy following the sale of the British Colonial Hilton to a Chinese state-owned company, Free National Movement Chairman Darren Cash is weighing in. Cash told NB12 today, although his party is not sounding the alarm that the nation's economy is being taken over by China, legitimate concerns about the Hilton sale do exist.
The FNM is in no way sounding the alarm that the Chinese are taking over. I think it's important to remind the public that it was the Free National Movement almost some 15 years ago, I believe, that changed the Bahamas' diplomatic ties from Taiwan to the People's Republic of China. And it was then an indication that the FNM had a pretty clear vision on what the future was going to look like.
It was announced last Friday the British Colonial Hilton has been sold to China State Construction Engineering Corporation, the same Chinese state-owned company responsible for building the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar resort through its subsidiary. The announcement of the sale has raised concerns among some who have noted China's involvement in the Bahamian economy continues to grow. When contacted for comment, former Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Brent Simonet told NB12 the sale should be a concern as Baha Mar and the Hilton are now in the hands of one single entity. He said it is potentially dangerous that you have a large sector of our major industry being controlled by one group. And noting a foreign entity has purchased the Hilton, Simonet asked, where is the PLP slogan, Bahamians First? He said this move by the Christie administration doesn't fall in line with the rhetoric that got it elected. For his part, Cash said having the same company investing in both Baha Mar and the Hilton may not necessarily be a bad thing. However, he noted such concerns do exist and the government needs to address it.
It is not inherently a bad thing, but obviously the role of government is to ensure that business practices are such that you can still have a competitive environment and that one person or entity does not end up in a position where they dominate the market and make it uncompetitive. And so to that extent, yes, there are legitimate concerns, and they are concerns that the government ought to address as opposed to dismiss.
Another concern raised by some is whether Bahamian entities were given a fair chance to become owners of the property, if any were interested or had the capital. Cash questioned if the Christie administration urged China State Construction more than other Bahamian companies to take control. Cash said the government has not done enough to promote Bahamian ownership, noting Prime Minister Perry Christie has bent over backwards to encourage foreign investments.
This Prime Minister has bent over backwards to promote foreign ownership far more than he has Bahamian ownership. and his record is very clear. He has done very, very little to promote Bahamian ownership in this economy, and so that is very unusual for a prime minister who came to office on the charge of he believes in Bahamians. Well, clearly Bahamians know that is not true.
In announcing the sale of the British colonial Hilton, both Prime Minister Perry Christie and China State Construction Engineering's chairman hinted that plans by the Chinese company to redevelop downtown Nassau have also been accepted. Well, president of the Downtown Nassau Partnership, an organization whose goal is to revitalize East Bay Street, said today that's not a bad idea. Charles Calarnis noted concerns have been raised over China's influence in the economy, but said such involvement will only prove beneficial.
If you look, even major cities around the world, I think, a month ago, the Waldorf Astoria in New York, which is a famous landmark, was bought by the Chinese. Rockefeller Center, I think is owned by the Japanese. So when you go to London, same thing, and whether it's Paris, London, all these, the world is global today. And so we cannot put a brakes or put a fence around us and expect to have this economy to grow. It won't happen. And I think diversity and with managed influx of not just capital but also talent is so important for the development of our islands.
At the announcement of the Hilton sale last Friday, Christie said the developer has indicated its willingness to join in a public partner sector partnership for a redevelopment extending from Arawak Key to Potter's Key. Calarnis said this potential redevelopment of East Bay Street will be a boost for the island's tourism industry and could encourage local developments.
And think about the impact $1 billion plus will have just in the Garden District, which really is Virginia Street, Nassau Street, West Street, Cumberland Street, West Hill Street. These are all owned by local Bahamians. And so you have this massive investments on the waterfront. I think the impact is going to be amazing and wonderful and giving a lot of opportunities for Bahamians. The fact that you're going to have, besides the actual hotel, further developments on the waterfront, e.g., say condos, people living downtown, the spillover effect has to have an impact on those properties adjacent to the hotel. So, if those property owners, if they have any ingenuity, they will adapt or look towards the opportunities that this investment will have. So I think it's such a positive.